Howard Stern, October 25th. Howard defends Israel. Howard defends Ukraine. Howard goes off on Trump. Howard tries to help Mad Dog Russo. Hello, it's your YouTube friend, and I'm here to talk about the show from October 25th. And there was a lot of interesting things that he said at the beginning of that show. Outside of that, for this week, not much there, so I didn't review the rest of the shows. I passed on the whole John Stamos interview. I don't even know who Chris DiStefano is. The Freaky Friday stuff or whatever he's doing, not into that. Didn't want to hear any more about Ronnie's wedding. So I pretty much passed on most, but this day there was some interesting things that I thought came up. So first of all, he starts talking about his iPhone and how he can't get it to stay in standby mode. John Hine came in and said, hey, I'll make sure I get it to your team. I guess he's got an IT team. And as always a reminder, I transcribe these things and then try to go back and reword them and rewrite them. But you'll be hearing these in the voice of Howard as much as I possibly can. And also check out my shirt shop in the description. As I always mention, there's a shirt shop here that has some fun quotes from the show. And if you have any quotes that you'd like on your T-shirt, I can make them. And so just send those in the comments or just email me. But I'll be taking a look at that. So he's talking about his iPhone, and he starts saying, I don't know how China got so fucking powerful. They control all the chips and everything. They have their own kind of thing over there, and then they steal intellectual property. They have these spies, and they grab secrets from innovators, and then they try to get them for themselves. They don't cooperate. And then they say, hey, why don't you make a deal with us to share their technology? Isn't the world more fucked up now than it used to be? I know we're older and we've lived through a bunch of shit. Doesn't the world just seem more dangerous, more effed than it ever has? Or do you think it's just a result of us being old? He asked Robin. Even a few years ago, we had the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, and I guess we felt a little more comfortable about these because we were having the wars. But you just don't have them anymore. They just pop up. We used to have these fake wars. Russia was represented by somebody. I'll tell you why the war of the world seems way more dangerous to me and now than ever. I never thought I'd see the day in the lifetime, but a guy like Trump, he's up on I don't know how many indictments, and 4 trials are going on, and clearly this is like a lot of wrongdoing, and he's leading the candidacy for the Republican Party. Well, how does this make the world more dangerous? It's like, it's gotten so effing nutty, he said. There's no lines drawn in the sand for anybody in terms of who they vote for. And then the other weird thing is that there are a ton of people out there who don't support Ukraine against Russia. So this is a long portion of the show here. I'll continue in Howard's words. He goes, I don't even understand it. What happened to Ukraine? A mobster anti-human is running things in Russia. He became more powerful. He decided just that these people were living their lives. They weren't arguing with anybody. They're going wheat. They're happy. They've got beautiful apartments. I saw it. It was beautiful, Ukraine. They were building a world where they could be free, and this MFer and what they did to him, and God bless the Ukrainian people. If you're an American and you don't back up Ukraine, they just want to be free and be left alone, and you somehow don't get that, and you live in America and you don't support them, they didn't do anything wrong, and now it's payback time. So Howard continues to talk about this. Sending over the troops, and this MFer will keep killing them, and then they're killing them, and they're doing a beautiful job of it, but God bless these people of Ukraine for fighting back. They ain't sitting there just like it's World War II, taking it up the butt. They're not sitting around in the sand and throwing their hands in the air. They're brave. I'm not that brave. God bless those people of Ukraine. And God bless the people of Israel. So this takes us to this portion of the show where Howard talks about this. He goes, if someone came into your house and decided today to kill your mother and to kill your father and to kill your babies and rape your effing daughters, you'd go get payback. I mean, what, are you kidding me? People saying, just behave and sit there and take it up the butt. It's crazy. I don't get it. I don't want to get too deep in this because people know my views. I've been very vocal on the air on this show. This ain't The View. I don't give 2 Fs about anybody else's opinion about this stuff, honestly. And at the end of the day, I go home and still believe what I believe. I believe I know what's right. I know what's wrong. And I know better than anyone else for me. This is Howard talking, of course. He continued, we did a beautiful thing. Some say Afghanistan was a big mistake. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. You can talk about it amongst yourselves all you want. But after 9/11, and those F-heads, the same F-head, they're there now. I believe I know what's right, and I know what's wrong, and I know better than anyone else, he said again. He continues, and those F-heads, it's the same F-head who are now effing around in Israel and everyone else, but after that, and after 9/11, Our country was pissed, so what do? We go and get the head of Osama bin Laden. We get his head. And how do they get this guy? All those a-holes over there, they're protecting him. They're hiding him. Let me tell you something, Howard says. The Taliban had a good thing in Afghanistan. They were running that place. They had it locked down. All those women had to F them. They could rape the women. They didn't have to send them to school. They don't have to let them drive. It was their paradise. They ran everything. The Taliban had their own heroin trade, he said. And then this S-head, Osama bin Laden, blew up the World Trade Center. Well, they brought a holy hell on their lives. We F with the Taliban so bad, being a warlord, getting I don't even remember what he said there. This is Howard, in Howard's words again. All those efforts finally gave up Osama bin Laden. We got it. We got a tip. So it was wonderful. It was wonderful and cathartic, and God bless the United States military. And by the way, the United States military, once they got him, nobody in the world could say it to us about the payback, because we didn't give two Fs. Nobody has permission when it comes to Jews, though. This is when he talks about Israel a little bit. He goes on, they always go, well, you better behave. You better behave. I looked at the map. It's the size of a flea. Israel is surrounded by 19, I think, Arab countries. I think if you saw a freckle on your skin the size of Israel, you get this whole big body. This is a freckle. But you know how people are pissed about the freckle. Jews don't know where to go. World War II, they said there were 6 million Jews, and they didn't know where to go either. Where are they going to go? You always say, why did Jews care so much about Israel? This is Howard talking. It's just a little patch of desert. Nobody wants to live there. Believe me, it's tough living there. There's no water. You got all these Middle East areas. It's like huge. Saudi Arabia, it's huge. Egypt, it's huge. I mean, Iran, huge. And then there's this little place. It's got no water, no oil, nothing. Other countries won't take in the people. They won't let them. We're not taking them either. It's a big effing mess. And you know what? If you're a Jewish, wait. First of all, how do you become Jewish, he says? You don't even know. In my case, a Jew effed and then had sex, and then I popped out. And then I hear I'm supposed to be rich. You're supposed to be part of a secret society. You control the world. I lived in the biggest S-hole on the planet in Roosevelt, Long Island. Go visit it. See how well you'll do there. I didn't get part of the society. I didn't control anything, Howard says. He went on, it was an effing nightmare. It was a mess. And I'm like, how did I get in this mess? I was with these two people. I don't even know these two people. And they effed. And then I showed up, and now I'm here, and I'm talking to you, evidently, and I did something wrong. No, I did something wrong. But I know a place in the desert somewhere that I can go if the shit hits the fan, and that's it in a nutshell. You know what? I love these people. Well, you know, they raped your women and shot your babies and chopped their heads off. That's not happening to them as long as it's not happening to their kids anymore. Shut your effing mouth, he said. Howard goes on. I know, because I have to hear from too many people who live in this country telling me what we should be doing in the Middle East. You don't live in the Middle East, so shut up. Let them do it. Let them settle it for themselves. Don't tell them not to do it. Just sit there and be quiet. They're not running your life very well. Don't be shocked if they go in and blow up everybody, rape your wives, and kill your babies. As long as we keep hating each other, it's going to be like this, Howard says. He continues. What if someone came in and chopped off your mother's head and your father's head and then effed your baby? That's what's going on over there. How do you win a war? You go balls out, that's it, and guess what? Hospitals are going to get hit. Kids are going to be killed. It's going to be miserable, and that's what we did in Afghanistan, and it worked. All that worked. We make them miserable, all the Taliban, and you notice there hasn't been, and I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood, but there hasn't been another terrorist attack on this country. You know why? Those effing Taliban. They're going, what a effing stupid thing we did. Osama bin Laden, he blew up the World Trade Center, and now we're effed, said the Taliban, according to Howard. Our women are driving, and they're getting an education. We have a great life. The Taliban, they take your women who cheated on you, they take her out in the middle of a village and hit her with a rock until she drops dead. I mean, we had the place locked down. We had heroin, we had everything, and you know, all of a sudden, you see drips and drabs of the hostages. Let me tell you about these guys in Egypt. There ain't no negotiating with these people. It's the same stuff over and over again. That's what happens. I mean, it's just nuts. Let me tell you what's going on in Ukraine. If you're not for the Ukrainian people, do me a favor. Don't write me your letters. Don't write me your views and everything. I don't give a shit, Howard says. He goes on. My views are so locked that nothing can change my view. You can change yours. Do whatever you want. Go to the Roger Waters concert. Do whatever the F you got to do to make yourself happy. Go to Harvard and protest. Do whatever the F you have to do. You're not going to live with these people you support. How about you go over there and see how it goes and leave me alone? There's plenty of people who disagree with me, and I think they're nuts. I think we got a bunch of nuts They're arguing about what happened 100 years ago. That's right. I believe got so many nuts in this effing country. I don't even know what they're doing. I don't know what they believe in anymore. I'm for the Constitution, Howard says. He goes on. Imagine you're a United States congressman and you're going to vote to say the election was rigged. What the F? Are you kidding me? We found 60 cases. I mean, what country are we in? What kind of nuttiness is going on? People say, I don't want to hear the truth, Howard. I don't know what's wrong with that. Everything is fake news. And the New York Times, BS? They say everything is BS. Everyone's lying to them. I don't know what's going on. It seems confusing to me. But you know what? Please, I'm begging everyone in my audience. I love you. I'll make you laugh every morning. But don't write me with your views. I don't care about your views. I know what I know, and I know I'm right. I've been given a brain that probably is pretty good at analyzing this stuff, and nothing you could say would ever convince me. And then a caller called in, and that was that for that portion of the show. Thought that was really interesting, and hopefully you enjoyed my reading of Howard's words there. But that was what he's talking about. Sparky over the back here is pretty excited. Then we moved into Mad Dog Russo. He said Mad Dog's lost his mind. He said, Howard said, I'm a radio guy, and so is Mad Dog. And I know when you're on the air, sometimes you want to please people and make things fun and interesting, but he fucking went on the air and he's trying to make things fun and interesting. I don't know anything about baseball. I don't know anything about Philadelphia or the Diamondbacks, but they're in some sort of playoff situation, he says. He goes, I don't know, I heard something about somebody getting into the World Series, and I was like, I don't even know what's going on. I'll tell you how lame I am. I don't even know that Arizona has a baseball team. I'm not making a joke. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. When I look at the time you waste this is my favorite part of this rant, by the way, for Howard. When I look at the time you waste either playing golf or watching sports, you should be studying guitar. You could learn to be a great painter. I'm a pretty decent watercolorist. I'm telling you. I only have about an hour or two to spend on the weekend. That's because I'm not watching sports. I would paint, or I should have studied guitar. I could have been in a band. If you have sports like I do, I mean, I just don't waste time with it. Robin said to him, didn't you watch basketball? Oh, I did as a kid, and I'll watch next year, but it's a waste of time. It's the same thing. One guy wins, the other guy loses. It's an hour of your life. I might go back to watching basketball now that I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Wendy, the kid that just got drafted, he's like 7 foot and he's amazing. He plays for the San Antonio Spurs, Howard said. Actually, you know what? I set up this little hoop outside my house every night before dinner. I said, I'm going to go shoot around. I'm the worst basketball player ever. I get out there, I take a couple layups, I take a hook shot. I shoot from the top of the key 5 shots. So I take about 25 shots before dinner. And I'm like talking swish, swish, swish. I'm getting them like crazy. There's like a bunch of days where, does anyone believe this, by the way, that he's out playing basketball? But anyway. So he goes, anyway, so Russo lost his mind, and I understand what he's trying to do. The guy's trying to be entertaining. So Mad Dog Russo said he was going to retire if the Diamondbacks went to the World Series. This is what this came from. Howard said he wants to be funny. He's a radio man, so he gets on the air, and he says, I guess the Diamondbacks are playing like us. Philadelphia was having their way, and he basically says, you know what? Well, here's the clip.
But that is radio that I said that. So if the Phillies, I'm amazed this has got this much publicity. Who cares what I do? But the bottom line
Anybody
is,
says that they're going to retire on the spot after your type of career, and now people are going to hold you to it. So if the Phillies lose tonight, bye-bye, Sirius XM.
I'm out. I've informed my bosses, and the contract's up anyway. What difference does it make? So see you later. That gives the Diamondbacks more. All the Diamondbacks who can't stand me, now you got a Dexter incentive. You get me off.
It's kind of entertaining to me because I know that Mad Dog has a show and he's got to do his thing. But I would love to see him quit if we won today. You know what I mean? But there's nothing better than a wise guy New Yorker saying something than having to chomp on those words. So that's how I'm processing it, and it'll be great. He's a friend of mine. I love Mad Dog, and I know that he's going to end up hearing this, and I didn't want to really get into this. But
so Howard said he calls me and says, you know what, I might have to have you get me out of this pickle. What do I do, Howard? So first of all, the Diamondbacks should have lost based on what I'm reading from Mad Dog, but they pulled off a miracle. So he brings on Mad Dog. He said, why didn't you just, he said, thank God you didn't say you'd blow the manager of the Diamondbacks. He said, you'd be there flying there right now having to blow him. And Howard says, why did these sports people, they always retire and then take it back. Brady, Michael Jordan, they'll come right back. Here's what you got to do, Mad Dog, because this will never, you'll never live this down. You don't retire after you said you're going to retire. Everyone's going to call you a liar. They're going to say, you know what, you're a liar. You're a cheater, a scumbag. People give you shit until you retire. You're going to retire this weekend, and then you're going to come out of retirement. That's what he says you should do. You need to get on your radio channel and just say, I'm a douche. You just got to say it. You got to do something so outrageous that people forget about the fact you said you're going to retire over a baseball game. So Howard came up with some ideas. He goes, what if you come out and say you're trans and you're a woman and come out in a dress with breast implants? And Howard asked, would you be willing to shave your pubes and wear them on your face for 24 hours like a beard? And then he said, well, what if you give Mike Francesa a hand job? Is that something you might be able to do? He goes, all right. Well, how about this? How about we put you in a bikini and you walk down the street with a sign that says, I'm a douche? Mad Dog says, you know what? I could live with that one. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard. Howard said, you know what? If you do that, it'll make all the media and everyone believe and say, wow, this guy is stand-up. He took it. Obviously, he couldn't retire because he was humiliated. But he was in a bikini and had to walk down with a sign that said, I'm a douche. Mad Dog said, yes, I agree. This will make people forget about it. Howard said, people are going to call you bullshit until you do something radical. And this went on, and then Mad Dog hung up. So I guess he's going to be wearing a sign on his... He's going to do like Scott the Engineer and walk down Times Square. So that was a detailed wrap-up of what was said in Howard's diatribe about Israel, Ukraine, Mad Dog, Trump, all the fun stuff that he talked about that people seem to get rattled when he talks about. But hopefully you enjoyed this recap. I'll give more as I hear interesting things happen on the show. You can check out my channel and see all the other interviews I've done with former Stern staffers. I appreciate you coming by. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. Get it in the algorithm. You'll see these come out, weekly, daily, however often we can get them out. But hopefully you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time.